So with the DAX here, we're looking at this particular trend here, and we're also looking for it to terminate pretty soon in as wave 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for wave 5 to move up here. Normally wave 5 and wave 1 can have some sort of equality to them if the extension's in wave 3 here. So we could see this push up here a little bit further. And this would also be in line with the US dollar sending in a new low as well. It's probably a good idea to have a look at the US dollar at this particular point in time, because obviously the euro dollar and the sterling's doing the opposite to this, and we'll be looking at this, and we'll also, the same with gold as well. The 28th of September over here. So we've been looking, that was the bottom for gold, the 28th of September. So we've got 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth here. And this is really the opposite of, this is why it can fit in with the DAX as well, and the FTSE and so on. So they all kind of fit together. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in blue here, and we're looking to go down as 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and moving there. So it gives you a bit of a timing sense here for this move to the downside. So this is quite an important low here when we come to think about it, because if we also just went and took a left turn here and looked at the S&P 500 from its low down, its current low, the low, and the high was much higher up here. We've got a bullish count for all of this as well, but we like to understand, if we're going to be long, at what point are we going to be looking at possible weakness, and if it is bearish, at what point, where's the weakness in this? So as far as I can see, on the bearish count would be the B wave to here, and the C wave up here. So in a way, we're looking for 5 waves up here. So that will take us about 10 days to get from here to here, roughly 10 trading days. Don't hold me to that. I haven't really focus on, but just giving you a general idea. And we're looking for 5 waves to move up here. So this is a weak spot here. Now this weak spot here with 5 waves moving up here would also relate to the US dollar having a low in place here and then kicking back here. So this could also be a top for gold, for example, and the euro dollar and the DAX and the FTSE and yada, yada, yada. So we'll keep an eye on this. It's traveling okay so far. But yeah, this is, this is important. So while this is bottoming here, then we'll be able to see from wave 4 to wave 5 up here, moving along here as well. So they may not all do it together. They obviously, some big markets top out first and pull other markets around and so on and so on. So just here on the 1000 tick chart with the DAX, the DAX here, we've got some type of corrective pattern here, and we're looking from wave 4 here, we're looking for wave 1 and 2, and same as the S&P, and then we're looking up for 3, 4, and 5, the same as the US dollar index to the downside as wave 5 up here. I'm just putting them up there. I don't know if that's the right target area or anything like that. I can roughly get it for you with all sorts of fancy footwork with things, but I'd rather count the waves. So in a nutshell, we're looking for a classic trading levels pattern across the 16,000 here. So that would be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC, and that sets up our entry over here for this. So we've got our arrival at our reaction here. It may, it may even drop down here further yet. I'm not quite sure, but we're looking for something like this. It's not a perfect world, but and then we'll have wave 3 up here. So tomorrow we really want to focus in on all of this, and it might take a while. It might take till Thursday to get to this point here, drying up at this point and pushing up here. We've got some positions in here. If you want to get it out or take money off the table, then any move above 16 is good. 16.30, 16.50, 16.80, 16.50 is probably 30 to 50 is safe. We're going to leave the stop out of the way. If you stay in the market, I'm not in this market, I'm in the Australian market at the moment, but it's the same. So I will adjust the stop because I'm not going to miss out on this third wave here, right? So I'm not going to be fixed on where the stop goes. So if you can't take the heat, you'll need to take some off this point here. And the heat would be not, and doesn't have to come back to if we take this to the 1650 here, you can see that the 61.8% is back down in here. Now, it could come back, technically, it can come back to, level with wave 1 here, just can't breach it. But most of the time, what will happen, we'll see how this wave 4 travels, and wherever that wave 4 travels, it will probably be sitting over here for this as well at that point. We'll see how that plays out at that point. But that's it so far. So let me just check on this here. So I'll just take this and this here. So technically this here can come back to, let's just draw a line and say it can come back to the 38.2% retracement level here, and we'll take that up to the 50 here. So that's not quite as high as that there. It could go anywhere up here, that's the thing. So the higher it goes up here, the less it will drop back over here. It's kind of, just the sentiment of the situation, There we go, all the ducks are lined up. So that's the DAX. We've got, as they say in May, sell in May and go away. That may even be the case. So we'll see how it plays out for this particular top here. So this top is not just important by itself. We've got the S&P 500 there. It will be at its 61.8% up at those highs. We'll be seeing how the US dollar is going to play out in its low, and so that's pretty important. And the same for the FTSE here. We've got wave 1, 2, 3 up here, 4 here, and we're going up for wave 5 here. So once again, we can look at 1, 2, 3 up here. Normally the wave 3 comes in across the old highs here, and wave 4 is complicated because of the old high in that case. Or sometimes if there is no wave, if there is no high over here for wave 3 to grapple on, if wave 3's got the extension in it, that's actually quite an emotional event, and markets are emotional. They're played by emotional beings, and that means that after a big event, it takes us a while to get over it. So that's why wave force can also be complicated there as well. But getting up to the 8,000 here and looking for 5 waves to get up here is what we're about at this particular point in time. We're currently long in this market, and look, if you want to get out, you've just got to get out at the next at this next top here. This will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in here. It may get a little bit messier. We're also looking for a classic trading levels pattern here. It could be as late as Thursday, by Thursday afternoon, by the time this comes in here, if you understand the bullish weekly cycle. And then we can build, we're looking to build back in on top of the B wave for the safe trade. We should be able to get a better movement back here. If we do get 5 waves up here, if we get 5 waves, because we don't have them at the moment, if we do get 5 waves up here, then it's safe to buy the 50-60% retracement level area at that point. But we need to see those 5 waves first, but then we'll turn this box into the beautiful green color, and Bob's your uncle, and on your way. Now we'll probably extend this up here a little bit as well to capture this in case it doesn't come back down. We'll have a look over here. The 750 is going to be a good support area here for this 750, and the 772 here, 772, that's going to be a bit critical. So it might, sometimes you put the green box and it doesn't reach it. It's a bit frustrating. But obviously wave 2 here is going to be a zigzag, a 5-3-5 structure. So if you can count the 5 waves in wave C, that's going to be very helpful as well. And a lot of the time this wave A and wave C will be roughly the same length. Don't make it too complicated, but just for eyeballing purposes. So if you see counting 5 waves down here, and then you can see that, you wait for the little impulse wave to move up from that point, and then always just gravitate over to the closest largest number. And if you need to buy a small position, just do it, So anyway, you've got the chance to take money, take it all off, take a percentage off, do whatever you need to do. But we do need to catch this third wave to the upside for this market. Now, the euro here as well. Now, it's possible. It's got 5 waves here, and this wave 2 here is rather big. It's got a nice ABC pattern here. It's got little 5 waves up here. It's possible to put this top in play here. I understand that as wave 3, 4, and 5. I understand that. But it's sort of looking okay here as an impulse wave to the upside. I know obviously it's looking quite weak as well. Let's just go in and have a look at that. So if we were counting our waves here, we'd probably look at this as the A wave, the B wave here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down here. It looks like it wants to drop down here further. So we'll just see how that plays out. If you wanted to go long here, then do here. We'll just check on what the US dollar here. So this US dollar here is coming back into, it's moving up quite sharply here for this. So we can just get a bit of an idea on this as well. So just think about this for a moment. Just want to check over here. Not too much worried about that particular spike. It's this one here. So that would give us, taking this low out here makes this bearish. And see how this is here. This is in, I suppose we could look at it as an A and a B and a C wave here for that too, really. But because it makes it, this drop here, taking that out makes it corrective, and then taking not so much the spike, I'm not a spiky man, but taking this out, because it doesn't finish off here well. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, this rally here that's setting the euro down, let's just check on that a little bit. That's just about at its thing there. That's the 50% and the 61.8% is a little bit higher. So what we could probably say here, this is 101 here. So what it's doing is dropped through here, and it's 1's the strongest number. So the 101, this is a CFD product here. So it's priced differently, but yeah, this is where it should fail at this point. So we can bring this down to this point. So yeah, just keep a bit of an eye on that, and also this. So we know that it can come down just a tad further. So we'll leave that at that, but the long trade can be taken up from this point or the first little move up. Sometimes it's good if it drops down below a level. So this level here is also 1 and 1. So let's just assume that it drops down here. So then it's going to try to get back up. And this is a really good space. Wait for the first high above the level, and then you can move in at that point. And then you can also look at between this one and this one here, you'll have, that's the halfway mark here, but you'll have group 1 in here. So you have 1, 2, and 3 in here. They're the ones that you want to build your position in on the upside, if you can figure out the turn. And the cable here, I'm a little bit unsure about the sterling here in this count. I'm unsure about all of this count here. I can see that there's different ways to to count all of this, and it's not a pretty picture. So I can see, we'd call this low in here. We were looking to go long above here and so on. It's basically hitting group 2 here, the 65 number, 72 and 80. So it's not finding it as, but we'd expect it to react from that particular level. I just don't know if I need to put a top in here. You know what I mean? And count 5 waves up here. I've had a bit of a look at it, and it's just a little bit tricky to nail down. So I'm just going to remove these here for a moment, just so I don't lead anyone astray. And I'm not sure. I mean, I would think that this is, what's the date on that? That's the 2nd of May. So the S&P and the NASDAQ was on the 5th of May. So it's a little bit earlier than that. So still, I would imagine it should be pushing up further, and I won't turn bearish on this until it drops or I see something in the pattern. But it could certainly pull back into this space here, and that means even with another little push to the upside, it could still do something like this in line with the with the US dollar and the S&P and all of those guys. So it could be something like this. I'm not quite sure. I don't really have any idea actually about this little trend. I really need to spend some time on it, and I never really resolved this here. There's different ways to view this. So I mean, I could put wave 3 over to this point over here as well. There's different things you can. I can see different ways that you could look at, but every way I look at it, there's still boxes that are unticked to confirm things. So I'm unsure about this. But what I could say with the trading levels is that I wouldn't turn bearish unless I'd seen a nice impulse wave to the downside. So while the 125 is the support, then I'll stay to the upside. And secondly, if the 126.50 here, the lower end of group 2, becomes the tested support, then it's going to climb higher up into the 128 at that point. So if you wanted to trade this long, the 126.50 as a tested support is what you need at this point. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.